Hey guys, MeLikeBigBoom here, bringing you guys an extremely unique video that I didn't think I was going to end up making, but I thought it was really cool and not a lot of people know how to do it, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a realistic bridge in the Unturned level editor. Now if you follow all these steps correctly, hopefully by the end of this your bridge will look like this. And as you can see, it's realistic, it's fancy, it looks like it's in Unturned, but it also is something that you would sit there and wonder, how did they make that? And in this video, I'm going to show you how to make that. So the first thing that you need to do is obviously to create an island to build your bridge, or I guess two islands to build a bridge across. So I'm just going to go in heights and make a perfectly flat island. So just break the surface. Then break out your flatten tool, click E to sample it to that height, and just make sure that it is perfectly flat, because that'll make it easier to make a bridge across it. And then I'll smooth out the edges. There we go. And then we are obviously going to need something to bridge across, so I will add a river going through it. Now that I think about it, I might need to make that bigger. Alright, so now that we've got ourselves a considerable gap to bridge across, we can begin placing down the actual road section of the bridge. So what we're going to be placing down are the straight road paths, and I think it is in the medium category, but I'm not entirely sure. Let me look. Alright, I think it's in the large category. Yep. Alright, so all these different road things, we're just going to be looking for just a road line. We obviously aren't going to be making like intersections and stuff on this bridge. But basically when you place it down, it looks like that. They're just chunks of road that you can tile together. It's good for making like towns and stuff, rather than having to like use this road tool and connect the dots, because that can be kind of messy. So we're just going to copy and paste this until we get a straight line across. Make sure that it's perfectly in line with the ground. In order to make sure that you get it perfectly aligned with each other, you're going to go into the transform, and instead of setting it on global rotation, we'll do it on local rotation. So we're going to do Control C, Control V, and begin dragging these until we've officially made it all the way across. You can also select both of them and then Control C, Control V, and then you can get it done pretty quickly. Alright, so now that we've built a road across the water, we are done. Ta-da! No, okay. Well, if you guys were probably making a bridge by yourself, this is probably where you would stop normally. But of course, we aren't going to stop here. We got to get fancier than that. So we need to make it realistic by adding supports that the bridge is going off of. So I'm going to build one in the middle, and then little foundations where it starts on the water as well. And then once you add that, it should be looking more like a bridge, because right now this obviously doesn't look like it's going to support itself. Now when you try and think of ways that you can make a solid brick of concrete, your immediate assumption is that it's impossible. Like, there isn't just a solid block that you can place down, but that is what the level editor is for. You got to get creative, and I figured out that the best way to make a solid chunk of concrete, or at least make it look that way, is using cafes. So, oops, not that one. This one. This cafe. Because the side of it is like perfectly white. So if you get creative with this, you can make it look like it's just solid concrete under here. And I will place these down, and you'll basically figure it out that way on your own. So just make sure that there are no windows and stuff like that showing, and just copy and paste these until you basically get like a solid block. Alright, so after placing down 4 of these, we're basically done with that section. As you can see, this is what it looks like. It looks like a solid chunk, and it looks like it's supporting that section of the bridge. But if you were in the level editor, which, I mean, you obviously wouldn't be able to see this if you were in actually playing the game, you go in here and you see that it's like a bunch of buildings, and they actually are cafes. See, like, this is like the front of it, and it says cafe right there, but this is under the map and you wouldn't be able to see that. So from outside, it looks like, well, a support of the bridge. And to make it easier, all you have to do to paste it to the other side is just select that, Control C, Control V, and paste it to the other side, rotating it, of course. So now that we've got these two supports done, we need a middle one. And this one's probably a bit more difficult because it's hard to get all four of the cafes facing inwards, and you can't see any of the windows and all that jazz. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy these cafes over here and paste it into the middle. So as you can see, they're cafes under the bridge, and we don't want that. So basically just copy it a bunch of times, rotate it, and make it to where the only surfaces that are on the outside are the parts of the cafe that don't have windows. Control C, Control V, rotation. Make sure they line up perfectly. Alright, so now I've gotten the middle support done, but it's floating, as you can see. So from here you can decide to extend it all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, or you can up the terrain until it has like a little hump of dirt right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mixture of both. So I'm going to select this top part here, Control C, Control V, transform it, and move it down. And I think I didn't get... Alright, yeah, we got it. And then go into the terrain, heights, raise, make the strength a little bit smaller, and the size smaller as well. And raise that section of the ground until it meets the supports. So now, if you look under the water, you will see how the ground goes up to that support and it looks more realistic. So now, basically you're done. I mean, it doesn't look very fancy, and I will show you how to make it even better. So you've got the supports done, and the bridge is looking pretty good so far, using cafes as the supports. But what a lot of bridges now have are guardrails along the edges and street lamps. And it will add a lot more to the bridge when you add those. So guardrails, I think, are in the medium section, and they aren't called the guardrails. They're called something else, and it's kind of weird. Yeah, they're called Fence Road Number 1. I don't know, Nelson thought they were fences for the road, but they're called guardrails. So anyway, they look like this, and basically we're just going to extend that all the way down the sidewalks of both sides, and I will be back to you when I finish that. Alright, so I finished adding the guardrails along the edges, and now it's looking even more like a bridge. But to finish it off for the last little thing to make it a completed bridge, we're going to add street lights down every once in a while along the bridge, and then our bridge will be done and it will be looking fancy. If you obviously want to make your bridge spanning something even taller, you would just copy and paste these supports down even further. And it's pretty self-explanatory from there. But I'm going to add these street lights, and I will be back once that is done. Oh yeah, street lights are in the medium category as well. They're right here. Alright, so now that we've added the street lights, our bridge is basically done. I'm just going to rebake the materials and rebake the details as well to make sure that the materials are following the bridge now, so that way we don't have grass growing through it. And other than that, that is pretty much what your finished bridge should look like. And if you'd like to make it a double wide bridge if you have some sort of massive city, thanks to Nelson's copy and paste rule, doing this is extremely easy. You just select your whole bridge, Control C, Control V, and drag it over. And then you can delete all the middle stuff, but I think it actually did a pretty good job. So now our bridge is double wide, and look at that, it did it perfectly. We have the sidewalk down the middle. If you'd like, you can get rid of the street lamps that are going down this, or at least reduce them. I think I'm going to get rid of them and make this like a little walkway down the middle. But anyway, that is how you make a bridge in the Unturned level editor. I was always a little bit confused because I'd watch videos of people's maps and I'd be like, how did they make that bridge so fancy? So I decided to play around in the level editor and I figured out how to make it. And I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial on how to make a bridge. It is extremely simple and I can't wait to see how you guys implement it into your own maps. I've mentioned it before in a few videos in the past. I'm hoping to eventually do a map showcase series on my channel, but since there aren't very many custom maps in the Unturned community at the moment, I'd like for you guys to begin creating some awesome custom maps and send them to me through YouTube personal message, and that way I can get a list going of maps to showcase for that series. But anyway, that is how you make a bridge in the Unturned level editor. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and do all that gibberish, because MeLikeBigBoom is out.